Hello, hello. So, I'm Swamp. My name's Sky. Most people call me Swamp. This is a Q&A based off questions people have sent me on Tumblr within the last 20 minutes. So, the first question has been, let's see, from Anonymous, and it says, "For the vlog, could you tell us a little about the magic you work with? I know you've mentioned folk magic, but could you expand on this? Thanks." You're welcome. So, my brand of magic is pretty folky. You all know that. I'm a secular witch, so I don't put any sort of religion into what I do. I don't work with deities, they're not my thing. We don't play nicely together. It's just, no. Well, was raised by a hobby occultist and a charismatic Catholic, and so been kind of into weird stuff my whole life, and neither of my parents were ever like, "Oh no, she's the devil!" So they pretty much just encouraged me, and if there were weird family things, they would tell me about them, like my Aunt Junie, who lived in the mountains of Dummer, New Hampshire, like in the mountains, where it gets like -6,000 every winter, by herself. She was 103, by herself. And how she'd walk through the dew every morning because it would make the warts on her feet go away. Or my Aunt Rosalie, who swears that if you... Oh, I can't even remember what it is. If you rub some certain type of vegetable on your skin will be glorious forever. And she has the most beautiful skin I've ever seen in my life. It's just weird little things like that. Bells at the entrances and exits. Don't put anything under your bed because it's bad feng shui. That kind of stuff. Just kind of things that they've collected and heard over the years. And my own associations with things just based on experience and my own feelings and memories and that kind of stuff. I don't really know how to expand on this. This would be a lot easier if there were specifics that you'd asked instead of generals. I'm not very good at generals. Kind of just my own practice that's not high magic, not low magic, not medium magic, medium rare magic, I don't know. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Second question is from my friend Felix, Tumblr user Dadass. It says, "How do you integrate your aesthetic into your practice? I assume you do because all your photos are so elegant." Thanks, Felix! My mom was an interior designer, and she went to fashion school and graduated and all that kind of stuff. So this has been my whole life and how I make things look and how I present things to people. I know that some people will do like glamours as part of their aesthetic, and I think to a certain extent I probably do as well, just because I don't like people to know what I actually look like. It's like putting on foundation for your whole life, kind of. I have a very specific aesthetic, I guess, that is heavily based in Edwardian stuff and antiques and Victorian stuff and creepy stuff and just general witchy stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's a way I could separate the two at this point because they're so interconnected and they mesh, and that's just kind of how it is. I don't know, makeup and clothing a lot of the time are protection things and invisibility things, like adding poppy seeds and stuff to your makeup, like ground poppy seeds, carefully. It's good for cloaking and hiding from crazy exes, that kind of thing. My aesthetic in magic. There's no way to separate them, so they're just together forever. I'm sorry, that was also shitty. I suck at this. Why are you guys letting me do this? Okay. Anonymous S, question number 1. Do you work with elements? The only thing I habitually work with is water. Specifically, like, pond water. That's my thing. Worst spell mishap. So, one time, I was brainstorming with my friend Witch Smoke. You guys, I talk about her all the time. Her URL is Witch Smoke. One word. And she had this crazy roommate who was horrible. Oh, she was terrible. She was just bananas terrible. So, being the loving and kind people we are, decided to boot her. And so we were out at dinner at like 3 in the morning at some diner, and we're brainstorming, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, she's scared of this, this, and this. Basically curse her out. Just hex her enough that she's like, this shit's too crazy, gotta go. So, that night, I go home. It's like 6 in the morning by the time I get home. I'm tired as balls. I go to bed and have the most horrific dreams I've ever had in my entire life. Like people in the ceilings, people coming down from the ceilings at me, people in the corners of the ceilings, people watching me sleep, people holding me down, like some serious like sleep paralysis type shit without the sleep paralysis. And I do DreamWorks stuff enough to know that that isn't what it was. And so I text her in the morning. I'm like, you fucking bitch. Because I knew what had happened, and basically the curse, hex, get the fuck out thing had diverted and gone to me because I was the last person, and because she'd been thinking about what I told her and how to make it all smush together and work right, and it was horrible. I don't know that I've ever had like a really bad spell mishap. I almost lit my house on fire once, but who hasn't? I mean, it's pretty common with witches, I think. I hope I'm not the only one who's done that. Okay, their third question was, do you feel more powerful / inclined to do workings at a specific season or time of day? Absolutely. Fall and winter are my time to shine. Absolutely. It's like reverse seasonal depression, sort of. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but without going into my own medical history, it could very possibly be a thing. And so summer and spring, I am horrible. I hate everything. I'm depressed. It sucks. Life is terrible. And I don't sleep at all, or I sleep way too much. So yeah, during fall, winter, when everything comes back to life, yeah. Okay, questions for a blog. This is also anonymous. Any go-to herbs you have? Clove. I work a lot with flowers, that's part of the folk thing. So there's certain flowers that are my go-tos. Clove, rosemary, kind of just stuff you cook with. Salt, sugar, I don't know. Any crystal you don't like the feeling of. I don't really work with crystals all that much. The only thing that I actually enjoy is moldavite. I'll use quartz occasionally, or the purple stuff, amethyst. It's my birthstone. I've got it all over my little workspace, and it's good for divination stuff, but anything that I really don't like, not really. My mom is also a gemologist, so I grew up around it. Maybe I'm just like more attuned, more used to, more accustomed. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that went by really quickly. It's like a 9-minute video, but it feels really quick. I hope that was okay. Maybe I should break these up into separate questions, huh? Maybe. I don't know.